So, ladies and gentlemen, they say sometimes in hockey, the name reflects the player and the player reflects the name. Harry Neal once called this guy's visage, his face, something only a mother could love. That's disparaging, but for me, he stood out as one of the tougher players of the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins, which I consider the last Goon Era of the NHL. So today we're going to be talking about the curious case and I think the great career of one Gary Rissling. Now, Gary Rissling was born August 6, 1956 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He was kind of relegated to lower major junior and the minor leagues before the Washington Capitals took a chance on him by signing him as a free agent in 1979. Now, we had an okay minor career, but he really stood out with the Calgary Centennials. He started his career with the Edmonton Mets of the Alberta Junior Hockey League, scoring 29 goals in 48 games. He moved up to the AJHL Spruce Grove Mets to the great Edmonton Oil Kings, and he put up some okay numbers. 76 between Edmonton and Calgary of the WCHL. He had 34 goals. But in 77, he did everything. He almost scored 50 goals in 80 games. He had 40 goals in a regular season, 9 in the playoffs. But get this, ladies and gentlemen, 317 minutes and penalties. He eventually found his way into minor pro with the very rugged Port Huron Flags of the IHL. He had 63 points in 79 games that season, including 341 penalty minutes in the regular season and 131 in the playoffs in only 17 games. He had a combined total of 36 goals, 44 assists, and 80 points in playoffs in the regular season. Now, Washington signed him as a free agent, and he was there for one specific reason. He was there to protect their top players. Start off with Hershey, 34 games in Hershey, 34 points in Hershey, 52 games, 337 minutes and penalties. Now his 26-game call-up with Washington, he had 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points and 127 minutes and penalties. Back to Hershey for seasoning in 1980. Another cup of coffee in Washington, 1 point in 11 games. But eventually found his way to Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh, he continued his kind of protective means. He played parts of 5 seasons with Pittsburgh. His best year with Pittsburgh, in my opinion, was 1984 when he had 17 points in 47 games with 297 minutes and penalties. 85, 10-9, 1956 games. Eventually was sent back to Baltimore. Now, to my memory, he has one of the highest penalty minutes per game averages in NHL history that I remember. 221 games, 23 goals, 30 assists for 53 points. Ladies and gentlemen, 1,008 minutes and penalties. So just like Paul Baxter, a previous podcast we did, his teammate with Pittsburgh, they were there to protect the top players. But Gary Rissling was known for his tenacity, but also known for being a very, very good off-the-ice guy. In 83 and 84, he won the Aldridge Bastian Memorial Good Guy Award for his presence, his good presence on and off the ice. Now at 5'9", 175, he wasn't the biggest player in the ice. But ladies and gentlemen, just with a name like Gary Rissling, you think that was going to be a goal scorer? I mean, I saw a Rissling fight, and man, he was friggin' like a pit spider, man. He wasn't scared of big fights. But when I say the last pure Goon era, I'm talking the Dale Hunter era. I'm talking, the protective players and stuff. We had a Goon era in the NHL in the 90s, but not like the early to mid 80s. It was almost like Slapshot meets the NHL meets the WHA, and they would fight back then, and accumulated for a lot of teams in the Battle of Quebec, especially the '84 playoffs. But when you look at stats, ladies and gentlemen, no offense here, no offense, but 25 games, you're getting 143 minutes and penalties. You're there, not to work on the power play. I mean, how much ice time? And his plus minus numbers, weren't too bad. I mean, he was, his worst season was a -17, so. For the time he was on the ice, at least he was somewhat productive. But the penalty minutes, like I said, especially in the minors, his last 2 seasons was Baltimore. He had over 600 minutes of penalties in less than 150 games. So you do the math there. So that's a legend and a curious case of Gary Rissling. And I don't think he was that ugly. But the thing is, with a name like Gary Rissling, your reputation precedes. Thanks for listening. Bye.